Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and in this video we're going to be unboxing a game called Arena the Contest. This comes from Dragori Games. First off, I want to say a big thank you to my patrons on Patreon for voting for this unboxing of Arena the Contest. I'm really looking forward to diving into this one to see what this game has to offer. So first off, we're going to go ahead and flip the game over, take a look at the back of the box to see what Arena the Contest is all about. In a world with no armies, everyone's fate is decided in the arena. Arena is a tactical combat game in which you recruit heroes from combat roles like healer and tactician to fight for you. With countless team builds, combos, and strategies to explore, can you find the best possible action when your turn comes? In team competition mode, assemble infinitely customizable arenas using elements that change the dynamics of combat, such as walls, altars, and pools of lava. Plan your moves and work in harmony with your team to overcome the opposition. In cooperative mode, face quests with different problems, hazards, and goals. Good performance grants experience points you can spend to level up, get new attacks, weapons, and more. In the epic campaign, following an immersive story with several tough decisions that shape the course of your investigation, can you find and beat the dragon bosses. First thing you're going to find when you open up the box is this quick start guide. It talks about the game modes. As we mentioned, PvP and PvE are the major focuses here. Combat roles, melee and ranged. You've got Brute, Tactician, Tank, and Bruiser for melee. Ranged is healer, shooter, controller. How to assemble your team for each, whether you play PvP or PvE. And then moving on through this all the way to customizing and learning. Now we're going to go through a couple pages here because this is really not that big of a guide, and it's great to have this inside the box to get you going. Starting a PvP match all laid out right here. Reading a quest, how to do exactly that. We'll open this up on the inside. We've got the foes laid out. Starting a PvE match and how that works all the way through. Then over here we have reading a hero pad, as well as a breakdown here of the actual hero shown. The artwork in the game is very, very nice. And then we're going to come over here to this opposite side, making an attack and reading an attack on this page, page number 5. Last page, a breakdown of your turn, the vision, the reaction attack, the mob, the focus, showing you pretty much the major things you need to know. Next thing inside the box you'll find is the quest guide. This has many more pages than the last one we just went through, but I won't show you every single one, but an example here of some of the pages you can expect to find. So first off, the index right here, the introduction for quest, starting a quest, how that all works, reading a quest map. That's really important as to how you actually understand what you're seeing going through this book. Reading a villain, common special features. There's also artwork to be seen in this one. We're going to get right to the very first one. So for instance, this one right here is the breakdown for the quest Lava Citadel. It's got the introduction right here, your primary objective as well as your secondary objective laid out. This is simply about killing a war chief, and the secondary objectives are rescuing 3 prisoners, destroying the arcane orb, surviving heroes. So that's pretty cool. There's not only a primary objective you're going after, but also secondary. Mission descriptions all here, different events that can potentially happen as you move through. And then, of course, now that you know how to actually read the map from this book, you can now go ahead and set this all up. Now, as I go through each of these, you'll see every single one that I flip to is just going to be another iteration of a quest and setup. Pretty cool. So there's quite a bit in this book. And in terms of the number of them, as you can see, if I flip through them quite quickly, there's quite a few to use there. So if we go all the way to the very back of this particular book, how many pages in total? 39 pages worth. So that's pretty solid. We'll go ahead here and move past the quest guide now and head into the campaign tome. Now this one is very intriguing and looks to be about the same size, if not a little bigger than the last one we just looked at. So check this out. So inside of this book, we have ourselves a full world map. That looks absolutely awesome. That's really impressive, actually. Very cool. It's broken down. You can see all the different cities inside of the different areas. There's a lot going on there. We'll move on here to the index. Talks about consumables, permanence, how this book functions in terms of a campaign. And then it gets right into the historical context of what's really going on here. And we'll just move on through the introduction, the prelude. So then you're really getting into like what's happening at the end of each of these quests, you know, story-wise, right? So Lava Citadel was the one we looked at. So this is what you'd essentially be reading at the end of that particular quest, which is pretty cool. It's got a lot going on here, And if I'm seeing correctly, it looks like depending on how things go down in each of these different scenarios, different things can occur. So that's maybe got a branching path kind of situation going on here. There's QR codes as well. That's also really interesting. That I was unaware of. That's a really smart way to go through one of these types of books. So that's very good. I like it. I like it quite a bit. I'm really impressed, actually. So this is really just a breakdown of all that. And I don't want to spoil too much, so I'm just going to kind of jump right past it. But that's the campaign tome. Of course, that is going to tie right into your quest guide. And then you've got the rule book. The rule book itself, now just so you know, because I just jumped right past the campaign tome, how many pages was that again? It was a total of 46 pages, not including the back cover. Rulebook wise, how many pages is the rulebook? Look at the artwork on the back of this rulebook. That is beautiful. Okay, let's check it out. We got 38 pages in this one. So of course I'm just flipping through this really fast, but I will stop at the beginning and we'll take a look. So here's the index for this particular one. Rulebook. This is the one you're going to need to know because you're not going to be playing too much if you don't understand the rules. Component list is all right here if you need to figure out what you have and what you don't have. Introduction. General rules and competitive mode. There's your full-on setup breakdown, so giving you an idea as to how to get this thing on the table. Melee and ranged rolls, like this is your full breakdown. So just giving you a good idea as to like how the rulebook is laid out, so that can help you decide. Some people literally will decide what game they want to pick up just based on the rulebook alone. Here is a high-level look at one side of this double-sided game board. As you can see, there's a lot going on here. We've got the walls placed literally on the game board itself, lava pits. We've also got areas here where there's some bones where people have obviously dueled it out to the death. We have a number of areas here that look like spawn points or potentially points to teleport between. I'll have to double-check on that myself. And then we've got the tracker around the outside. But as I mentioned, this is a double-sided board, and this makes a lot of sense, being that it's very customized. So here you'd be able to actually take all the tiles you're going to see as we go through the rest of the box, like lava pits and walls, and place them wherever you'd like, or depending on whatever quest or campaign you're particularly in, you'll be able to set up that scenario exactly the way it depicts in the book. Next up, we have punch boards full of tokens, and as I just mentioned with that double-sided board, here are where you'd find things like lava tiles to be able to customize a particular map or set it up appropriate to the quest you're playing. Plus, you've got things like areas of stone and gravel and dirt, which you can also place down. Again, there might be effects there in terms of movement. We shall see. We got stairs. We have different colored doors or entrance ways. We have levers, which could control different elements of the arena. Flipping this over to the opposite side, you'll see totally different situations going on here. Spikes, traps, it appears all over the place. And again, this is more of a grassy area. And we'll continue on through past the first sheet into the second sheet, where we have a whole bunch of what looks to be walls. I could be mistaken, but I believe these look like a whole bunch of walls. We'll flip them over to the opposite side, and here we have some walls, but in this case, it's a whole bunch of skulls and everything. That's pretty cool looking, to be honest. I like that a lot. And then we've got some of these portals again coming through. We've got all kinds of single doors on this side, runes it looks like. Again, more different size walls, lava and everything else for more customization. Flipping this over to the opposite side, again, similar to the last sheet, but size-wise different. And then we get into all kinds of tokens here. Again, these probably relate to different quests during the campaign and different NPCs, all that kind of stuff we'll have to figure out. We've got a special ready token here. They all look really, really nice. Wow, look at the... I am already blown away at the miniature trays underneath there. I don't know if you guys caught a glimpse of that, but look at this. Yeah, I definitely had to flip this around so you guys could see it from the right side up. This looks absolutely gorgeous. You'll see here in the very bottom corner, we've got ourselves a massive dragon miniature that looks pretty incredible. Try to bring this up to the screen here so you can see it from all angles. I'll just slowly rotate this thing so you can enjoy it from all angles. It is a monster. Looks like he's keeping pretty low profile, pretty close to the ground on that one. But I've seen that there are other dragons within this game that are absolutely huge. And this one's pretty big in comparison to everybody else here in the box. Another thing I really like, just looking at this already, is again, you got the storage solution there. This is for sure got to be game trays, if I remember correctly, with this one. And on top of it, you've got all these wonderfully colored miniatures, which I really appreciate because not everybody has the time, like me. I'm too busy running a channel to be able to actually go ahead and paint as much as I used to do it and love it. So having miniatures that are actually just basically set in a different color from the get-go is huge for me, rather than just all being grayscale. So that's really awesome. So you can see that all the way around the outside, but you can't see much of anything right now because this wonderful tray is pretty much covering everything here. So what I'm going to do is take a moment and remove it. And of course, there's a dragon actually on this as well. Now it might be tough to see because there's a lot going on behind it, but it's really well done. And anything with game trays is, to be totally honest. Again, here we've even got symbolism here between the different factions or guilds, I guess, of fighters inside the game. That's really cool. You can see the artwork now really coming to life with these player boards. We've got the actual standees below. Everything's got its place. Every game needs one of these. They really, really do. So let's go ahead and take a moment and appreciate this storage solution, as well as actually take a close look at these player boards. So there's a number of these different boards to go through, so we'll go through them at a relatively quick pace. Feel free to pause the screen if you want to actually sit back and enjoy each of them. But there's a lot, so I'm going to go through these pretty steadily. But one thing I can really appreciate on them is the artwork. Now, if I flip them over to the opposite side, you also get really nice artwork as well. Now, I can't do that for every single one of them, but I had to show you at least one because they just do such a great job with the artwork on these. They look so real, is the thing that I love about them. Very realistic depiction. I'll just kind of flip through these one at a time. Got the wizard there. Like, the artwork is awesome. Like, absolutely awesome. Like, they nailed it. Got the red dragon card here. The blue dragon. The black dragon. So many dragons. The white dragon. The undead dragon. Wow, I don't really want to mess with all these. What do we got here? Wow, these creatures. Gold dragon. It's insane. And then you got your conditions card here. Over to the opposite side, you got the tiles. Now it's time to take a look at the deck of cards that comes inside the game. I'll show you the backs of some of these cards here. And then we're going to go ahead and flip them over. So we have health, we have power, heroic defense cards. Feel free to pause the screen if you want to actually not only take in the artwork, but also the abilities below. Heroic magic, potion of haste. Wow, there's a lot going on there, but again, like, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm going to move past a lot of this stuff pretty quickly. But we've got flasks here, it looks like, on one side in terms of the backs of the cards, heroic actions we went through, and level up cards as well. It appears here this continues on with more and more cards, again related to likely the campaign and questing going on inside the game. All kinds of stuff here, including some wonderful artwork. Now, I don't want to spoil too much here, so I'm not really going to show you everything. But as you move through this deck, it just continues on and on and on. And then you've got all this stuff in the back. Again, lots of spoiler stuff in there. Now let's check out the miniatures that come inside the box that we saw earlier that were all colored. I'll give you some shots at different angles. These poses are pretty dynamic. Continuing on down through the box, we get to the next level, which again has a game tray all ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and just lift this up, place it like this, and we'll remove the top of this cover as well. Got a number of other decks of cards to go through here, as well as miniatures around the outside. Plus, I've noticed between the last two tiers I've opened up, there's space for additional items to sit. Let's begin to go through all these decks of cards. You'll see some beautiful artwork, just like you did on the character boards themselves. Again, this will help you to determine which cards go with which character. There's a whole bunch. Looks like there's 4 for each. Flip this over to the opposite side, take a look. Also shows the character's picture, I believe, in the bottom here, maybe. Yes, it does. So that makes it easier to determine whose card is for who, even when they're face up, along with the color coding as well. Next up, we got some cards that are all about evil power, a whole bunch of those. Then we got some scroll cards. And finally, at the very back, artifact cards. Let's go ahead and flip them over. We're doing all those in reverse order, so remember that. Belt of Shadows, Sun Orb. We got all kinds of really cool artifacts here. Now we're moving into the scrolls. And the evil powers now. Looks like we have another deck of artifacts continuing onwards. We'll move through those, and we have some more that relate to some of the characters in the game. These appear to be tied to dragons and other creatures you're likely going to be going up against, foes. Yes, lots and lots of different foes and dragons, lots of them. So we're going to go ahead and just flip these over and take a look at what these cards have in store for us. All the wonderful things coming your way. Some artifacts at the back of this. Beautiful artwork too. And this last deck of card from the second tier worth of items starts with some level up cards. We got some fate cards mixed in there. Villain cards. Boss spell cards, a whole bunch of those. Evil power to continue out from the other deck we just looked at. So let's keep on rolling through these ones. For this second tier tray, there are 3 different miniatures, of which there are 3 of each of them. So this should give you a good look as to the quality of these 3. You can see there's spots here for the dies, which is pretty awesome. Flipping this around, you'll also notice that you've got things like these treasure chests right here. So you got 3 of those, plus you have what looks to be potentially markers for each of the players here. I'll have to dive into that to find out, but 1 of each of the colors, and then all kinds, like I said, of different spots to store things. So this was really well done on their part. And that's going to conclude the unboxing of Arena the Contest. This is a game of tactical fantasy combat for 1 to 8 players, so you can play this game solo right out of the box. I really hope this helps you make an informed decision on this game as a solo player. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, keep on rolling solo.